Hi guys. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, beautiful people all over the world.
Come on, New Year.
Yeah, okay. I see the
Yeah.
Creole coming
It's
out.
coming out, Jodia.
Welcome back to the Uncommons channel.
Welcome.
And if it's your first time joining us, welcome to the family.
Welcome.
If you did not know, my name is Blandine.
I am Josheb Simeus, the Great.
Oh wow, the great.
The Great.
I feel like now I have to come up with something.
No,
The
it's okay. It's okay.
the
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
exotic. The
I don't think you want to use that word.
no. I was trying to think of the word. It's not coming to me. You know what? Whatever. Next time I will come up with one. You know.
Cool.
Before we get into the video, how was y'all weekend? How was your weekend?
My week.
Oh, sorry.
My week. What did we do? I did a lot. I'm building somebody's website. That's fun.
Sounds like a lot of work.
He's like being annoying about it, but I get it. And then what else did I do? I had a lot of video shoots. Oh, you want to pause?
Yeah.
Go ahead, pause.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, her dad called. But yeah, I don't remember what I did this week. But we went to the fair on Saturday. And
This weekend.
oh wait, we took pictures with Pilar. I didn't like how they came out. Not gonna lie. but some of them are cool, and it was free, so it's okay.
Wait, so we're gonna put all of that out in the air?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So we had a pre-photo shoot for the Uncommon shirt, and the first model we had was her niece.
Was my little baby.
And
She.
if I have them edited, I'll probably put them up on the screen for you guys to see. But
It was a headache trying to make her do a pose. I give props
She did
to
good, though.
other photographers out there who take
she did
pictures.
good, especially for babies. Like it's not easy to take. You have to I think you have to have a license to take pictures for babies.
Really?
Yeah. So
I mean,
not
I
easy
can
taking
see
pictures.
why.
Especially
'cause-
the way Pilar is.
Oh, her parents has to be there with her for you to do anything in general with that child.
And they have a photo shoot coming up.
Good luck to that photographer. But I think that one will be easy to do because they're gonna be there
If they're
with
gonna
her.
be together, yeah.
They're gonna be there with her, so
Yeah.
it won't be that bad.
Well, usually it would be crazy if the baby was there by herself.
I mean, I don't mean like by herself. Like they'll be
I know,
in
but I'm just
the picture with her.
Oh.
Yeah, like in there with her, because
Yeah.
that's what I wanted, but
Mhm.
couldn't have that. But my week was boring.
What?
I mean, I don't do much. I just go to work.
We shot with Pilar.
I mean, yeah, but we just talked about that.
We
Like,
ordered shirts.
and
Why was your week so boring?
Cause I don't know. I always feel like I do the same thing every day. Like, I wake up, go to work, come home,
Yeah.
and I do the same thing every day, and it's like boring.
So why don't you try to
repetitive?
switch it up?
I mean, switch it up how? Like what would I
Like
be
go
doing?
out by yourself. You don't be wanting to do the thing. You're gonna complain, and then you don't be wanting to do the things to change your life.
But I mean, me going out, is that really changing my life?
Yeah, because you're saying you're doing the same thing. At least it's some type of change. If you're doing the same thing over and over.
I mean, I guess. I'll let y'all know next week how that goes. If I did that. I probably won't. Just letting y'all know now. But I'll let you know.
She won't. She won't.
So today's episode is a very, very, very sensitive topic episode for me because I'm like sweating already because I never really talked about this with like other people besides people who are close to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I wouldn't say I never talked.
Yeah.
I've never talked to anyone about it in general. People just happen to know about it, but only like close people. But today's episode is about me, you know?
Yes.
My story.
Put yourself on blast. Yes.
Where do I even start?
Start at the beginning.
I don't know.
Literally how we did it yesterday. So,
So around the age, I would say 14, 15 years old.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys remember the era of Kick. That era was
By the way, I was never into kick.
really.
No. I don't know if I told you that.
No, I did not know.
But yeah, I'm not a kick person at all.
I
It
was
was just not my thing.
I was definitely into Kick, and not in the good way, I would say. So yeah, around that age when Kick came around,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
sorry guys, this is just it's a little hard to talk about it, but just gotta lay it out. But I used to talk to people much older than me.
Mm-hmm.
More specific, I used to talk to males that
Mm-hmm.
were much older than me, and not the type of conversation that a 14 or a 15-year-old should be having with people they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, things led to another. Pictures were sent, videos were sent, and I remember the night of New Year's, because if you're Haitian, you know, New Year's, you're at church
Mm-hmm.
that night. So,
It's like clockwork.
yeah, every single year, if you're not at church, what are you doing with your life?
Club.
You're Haitian.
What's that?
No, there's even Haitians that do go to club throughout the
They
year.
go back to the church.
That night you will
You have
see
to
them.
be. That's
And
why our
even the
church is always packed.
the first Sunday too of every year, the first Sunday of January, that
Yeah.
church will be packed.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
It's always packed. Like my church, every New Year's that we have, it's random people that you just see like pop up in the church, and that's the only time they come. Like
It's-
we'll never see them again.
But anyways, so that night, I had a voice. I don't know. It was just a voice telling me, you know, delete everything that you have on your phone. But me being a kid, don't know any better,
Mm-hmm.
I did not delete it. So I had all the evidence on my phone. And then the next day, we had our oldest sister come down for New Year's. And my phone was on the counter. And then it was like going off because, you know, I was still doing that stuff and Kick. So she was like, who is blowing up your phone like that?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no one. And then, you know, back then I didn't have a password on my phone.
Right.
I was doing all the wrong things.
you already messed up when you said I ain't had no password.
So I didn't have a password on my phone.
Mhm.
So she just grabbed my phone from the counter, looked through it, and she was like, oh, wow. And then ever since that morning, she took my phone away from me. And then when my parents came home from work, she told them about it. But the one thing she did tell my parents is, you know, not to be upset with me, you know, not to yell at me or like not to punish me, but to like find out why.
To basically understand.
Yeah, like why was
Why
I
you
doing
like
it?
that?
Like, was I doing it to get attention?
Which I have to commend your sister on that, because that's not, especially like at least her background. She's more. All of you guys are from Haiti,
Mm-hmm.
so you guys have like a different understanding of how to go about things. But she went about it as if like
American,
an American. I don't.
American way,
It's sad
an
to say,
American way.
but yeah, like it's better to understand why you're doing certain things, because like in this community, you don't really have people to tell you like what's right or what's wrong.
No.
They'll just hide it from you, which
And
is wrong.
And it's not even like what's right. Like you do something wrong and they'll punish you.
They'll
Like they
punish
won't
you
like
off
talk to
rip.
you about it. So, so that's what she told them to do. And you know, that whole year when I was 15, I believe. I was starting high school.
Mm-hmm.
That whole year leading up to, cuz you know, it was still around spring break, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, not spring break, Christmas break.
I wasn't there.
No, I'm saying no, because I'm thinking about like New Year's. That's like Christmas break leading to
Christmas break.
So the whole
to school.
Christmas break going back to school, it was like very awkward in the house. At least for me, you know, like
Yeah.
I was not able to like look at my parents in the eyes, or like it was just awkward to even have like a regular conversation, because it's like all of my dirty secrets were out there, and I was just like,
So did your parents like did they understand, or did they try to understand, or did they come to you in a different light?
they did try to understand, and this is where I went wrong again. I I will admit that, like, now looking back on how I acted when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I could have went about it a different way. And if I had went about it a different way, my relationship with my parents would have been better now.
So how did you
I
go about
shut them out, basically. Like, I was so ashamed that I couldn't even, like,
it? Right.
let another person in to, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
let them understand why I was doing what I was doing. So instead of like letting them in, because I remember this one Saturday, because every first Saturday of the month, my dad would go to this church, because they would have like the what you call it, that
Jen?
yes, Jen, thank you. They would have Jen, and my dad would be the one who would preach there. So ever since they found out about that, they're like, okay, maybe we should bring her into more, you know, be more involved in the church and all that stuff. So he would. That was like
booty.
I know, but I mean,
because like
from their background, they didn't know how else
to go about
to go about it. So to them, they're probably like, this is the best way.
You need
know,
Jesus.
Yeah, which kind of sucks, but you know.
Because I'd rather you like, if it were me, I'd rather you talk to me.
Well, I mean, I was gonna get into that.
Oh, okay.
So that Saturday morning, as we were driving there, because you know all Haitians had that minivan. I don't know if your dad had the minivan, the white Toyota minivan. I had a white
Toyota,
one.
It was a Honda.
Oh wait,
Odyssey.
yeah, Honda, yes.
With the door with the
yeah, the
with
sliding
the door
door.
that slide by itself. It's automatic.
Yeah.
Automatic. I thought when we first got that car, I thought we was hot. Like I know what I said.
All Haitian dads had that. So my dad had that car. So I was sitting all the way in the back. And then my dad was just like, why are you sitting so far away from me? You know, talk to me. And, you know, why are you like shutting me out and whatnot? And again, me being me, a bad child.
I'm not gonna say that.
I mean, I like looking back at it now, I just think that I was too ashamed to let anyone in.
Because well, you have to think about it like this too, because like in the past, because they've handled things with like the wrong way, they've punished straight. and not really explain why or explain like you shouldn't do this or anything like that, it just leads you to feel more ashamed, especially at 15. Like you're older, and you've just been conditioned to feel a certain way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Because
like,
you're so used
yeah,
to
you're
it.
so
And
used to it. So
now they just flip it and
automatically you're gonna be
like,
like, you're gonna be like,
shut it.
you're gonna have your shield up pretty much. So I can understand. You shouldn't really beat yourself up for it, because at the same time you have to adjust to their new way of being a parent, and it's not the easiest, especially at 15. It's definitely not the, especially like as a teenager, you're more of a what you call it, like you have more pride, you're more prideful, so you're not gonna want to like put your pride aside to like do the right thing.
Yeah.
As a teenager,
definitely. Because I was just like, because thinking about it now, like back then, I was like, actually, I was upset. I was more upset. I was like, oh my gosh, they found out. I was just like, what?
like
What?
your world was over.
Yes.
Same thing.
I thought my world was over and everything. So, fast forward, ever since they found out, obviously they took my phone away, but me being a sneaky child, I ended up finding the phone because I knew all my parents' hiding spot back in the old. I'm not proud to say it, but I was a very
You were a kid.
I was sneaky, so I knew where they hid the phone. So obviously I found it, and I think by the time they found out about it, I was already too addicted to it. So it was like I did stop using that app because I was like, I should not be doing this type of stuff. I'm not even gonna say because I'm a Christian, because I was a kid, but just in general, like that type of stuff should be reserved for someone that you love, or you that
You plan
respect you,
or yeah.
that respect you and they respect you.
Mm-hmm.
So I had stopped doing the whole kick thing, but I started getting addicted to pornography. And that I was very much addicted to it my whole high school years. I think I dropped it off junior or senior year. So I was like, I don't know if I can say I was extremely addicted to it, but I know I was addicted to it because there was not a day that would go by that I had to do it. Like,
right.
I had to do it that day. Like, my day could not finish without me doing it. And it would be like to the point where I would start reading books about sex. Like,
yeah.
not like the healthy reading, but like the bad ones. And I would be like reading it like with my parents next to me, or like in the next room.
Because they don't know.
Yeah, they don't. They think like I'm
know.
doing something.
They think you're reading.
And then they would be like, oh, you're reading a book, that's good. But like they didn't really know
what you're reading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like I'm pretty sure back then, if they had continued to go through my phone, of course I would have been upset, but it probably would have stopped the addiction getting like worse.
Yeah.
So like, I think it was like the end of high school, beginning of college that how did I even stop? I'm trying to think. I had stopped when I watched this one Pastor Stephen Furtick. He's an amazing pastor. If you guys have not checked him out, go check him out. Yes, I'm giving him a shout out because he's an amazing pastor. I love all of his sermon.
Okay.
What?
I just said nothing. I just said nothing. I didn't say anything.
But I love all his sermons. But I just remember it was one night I was watching his sermon, and it's like, that one sermon where it's not even the whole sermon, it's just like one line they may say, and you're like, wow. Like, I needed to hear this. Like, I was on the edge. Like, this is what's going to, turn my life around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he did for me. I had watched one sermon. I don't really remember exactly which sermon it was because it was years ago.
Yeah.
But I had stopped watching pornography. It was very hard. I realized I had to do it like step by step because I did get withdrawals, which is crazy to say.
No, it's not, because like people do struggle with addictions, and like it doesn't matter what it is, you can get withdrawals.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you could get withdrawals
So, like,
from pornography, but
yeah,
I had it badly, like where I would be laying in bed and I'll be like, oh my gosh.
it'll just be in your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all that it would just be swarming my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do something to get my mind off of it. And then even like I would do it and then 5 minutes later it would come back. I was like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I just had to do it every day, keep telling myself like, no, this is not healthy for me. At first I had to accept that this was not healthy for me, and I don't know.
Well, so what were your like what were those steps to like stop? What were the things that you did for people that do struggle?
Well, whenever I would get the urge to watch, I would watch something else. So I would watch his sermon for me. So I would watch any sermon of his that would help me. Because then after watching his sermon, I would be writing down notes. And then afterwards, I would go listen to some Christian music, or read a book, or because I was still in school, college, high school, actually. So I would do some homework, any little things that you could do to not think about it. It could literally be the littlest thing, cleaning your room, anything. So for me, it was just watching his sermon whenever I felt the need to watch it. I would watch his sermon. Yeah.
Okay.
And his sermon got me through it. I'll just say that. So,
you watched the same sermon, or you just
no, because he had a whole bunch
on the same topic, or
no. It wasn't.
You just was watching random.
I was just watching random sermons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it got me through it. And so after, I didn't completely get over pornography, obviously, overnight. But, over time, I gradually decreased, I would say, the usage amount to where now I can say I don't watch it. But, back then, my parents didn't see it that way. They didn't know about pornography, but they still assumed that I was still using Kik, or even if I wasn't using Kik, I was messaging people that way. Because I remember this one night, I was in the room, and I was messaging my friends, actually, but my mom came in, and she just assumed that's what I was doing. And Haitians love assuming the worst. Haitian parents love assuming the worst of their kids.
So she just came in and said, like, what? Like, what you doing? You in the phone?
Yeah, basically. Basically, because back then I wasn't allowed to have a phone, but like, I would say that I've showed them that I wasn't doing that stuff anymore ever since they found out, which I really wasn't, because I was too ashamed to even like go do any, not even that stuff, just anything sexually related. I could not bring myself to do. Even to this day, I still feel ashamed about it. Like, that is the chapter of my life that I've like locked and shut away, that I don't even want to open or anything like that. But anyways, so yeah, she came in that room. And wait, actually, shoot.
What?
Before leading to that, because there's a reason why she said what she said.
Okay.
So, actually, before leading to that, it was a Sunday, and I went to my pastor, and I told him how I was feeling, like, because ever since that whole thing happened, I was very depressed. I was very suicidal, where I wasn't the type of suicidal that would cut myself
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to hurt myself physically.
Yeah, you'd rather just get it done with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was never that type of person who would cut myself just to decrease the pain. I couldn't get into that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like get a knife and I would go like this, but I could, for some reason, I could never really
Finish.
go through it. So I went to
Does it?
so I went to my pastor, and I told him how I was feeling.
Uh-huh.
And back then, I thought, whatever we talk about would stay between us.
The pastor?
Yeah, but obviously that didn't happen.
Is he Haitian?
Yeah.
That was the first mistake. What?
So he obviously brought my parents in. I mean, which now I understand he had to, because that was a very
Difficult time?
no, like
What?
I
mean, it sounded like a serious. You told
it
him
was a
about
very serious topic.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't tell him about the whole sexual thing. I just told him that I was very depressed and suicidal, and I wanted to kill myself.
yeah,
So,
I would understand why.
back then, I didn't see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why are you telling my parents? If I wanted them to know, I would have told them. I obviously came to you. And, when he brought my parents in, my parents, of course, were on the defense. They were upset at me for that. Like, they could not understand why I was even, like, suicidal. Like,
Why you even had thoughts?
yeah, like, why I wanted to kill myself. And they were, like, actually upset that I went to the pastor. But I was like,
went to them?
Yeah, but, at that time, I felt more comfortable, which is sad to say, I felt more comfortable telling another person than
Rather
them,
than telling your parents.
which is very sad to say.
It's sad, but that's a lot of Haitian parents today.
I know.
And it's still like that. Like, it's bad. But yeah.
So, so then going back to that night when my mom walked in, she was just like, oh, you know what? You don't want to listen to us. If you want to kill yourself, go ahead and do it. I was like, first of all, she came and accusing me of doing something that I wasn't even doing anymore. Second, you're going to go ahead and tell me
to go ahead
to
and
do it and
to finish
it when I'm already at the stage where I'm very depressed about
you're
the
close.
whole thing. Like,
yeah,
I can't even go around you guys because I'm still ashamed of what happened. So, that night I did try to kill myself. Not gonna lie, I did. But I had texted my best friend, Kiki. Hey, girl.
Keeks.
I like, to this day I can say that she is an angel that was sent by God for me, because if
like
she
for everyone, because she is for me too, low key. Shout out to Keeks.
Yes.
Shout out to Keeks. You get a little round of applause.
So that night, I reached out to her and I told her how I was feeling, and that I was basically over it. I was done. Not to give up on life how I'm giving up, which I realized that's kind of wrong for me to say. Telling the person not to give up. And then she was like, "What is going on?" She's like, "I'm coming over right now." I was like, no, because, my parents were sleeping. Everyone was sleeping,
Yeah.
It was, like, the perfect time to do it. And I was like, no, you're going to wake up my parents. Stay home, girl. Stay home. Let me do what I got to do. So, I went in the bathroom, filled up the tub, and I was just about to put my feet in the tub literally. And then I hear a knock. I hear a knock, and it's Kiki and her mom, and they're like in their pajamas and everything. They're like,
What time was this?
it was probably like midnight. It was like midnight. It was very late.
That's wild.
Yeah, they're like, we rushed over here, and then they woke up my parents, and then my parents were like, what's going on? And then, Kiki's mom is saying, oh, Kiki told me that, I wanted to kill myself, and so we came over here, and then Kiki's mom was like, I think it's just best that she comes with us for the night. Sorry.
What happened?
I just feel some tears coming out, and I'm trying not to let it come out.
No.
So,
Vulnerability. Go ahead.
So, oh my gosh.
Yes.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So then, so I went back to her place, and that night we stayed up talking about everything, because she understood,
Mm-hmm.
like, some of the depression side that I was feeling. So we stayed up all night, just talking about it. And then ever since that night, like, everything that happened afterwards is really a blur to me.
After that night?
Yeah, like going back home, how things were with my parents. It's like it's a blur to me. So, like, I don't know if it's my brain, like, shutting that whole
Part of it out?
Yeah, but it's a blur to me, because I don't know how. I can't remember how everything else went after that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you're here still. Praise God.
Yes. And that actually is what brought me to do this. My plan in the beginning wasn't exactly a podcast. At first, it was more of a blog for young kids like me, because I think I started when I was probably 17.
Mm-hmm.
Young kids like me who have experienced what I went through or something similar, like me, and they don't know who to talk to about it, or they're afraid to talk about it, and they feel like the only way out is killing themselves. I had created that platform. It was fruitful, faithful, and then there was another F. It was like,
yeah. No. Too much to remember. And plus, I feel like not a lot of people like search for that. Like,
I know.
Not a lot of people are searching for help if they want to kill themselves.
Yeah, I know.
So,
and plus,
you kind of have to like throw it out there and do it.
I mean, I did, but back then, I wasn't really into the whole promoting myself, because I was still finding myself. So I was like afraid to really let my story out, because I didn't know how people would react to it. And I was afraid to let my story out also because I didn't want people to really know of like how broken I really am, because I would go on about my day and put on a smile, but I really wasn't. So,
I mean, the funny thing about that is that everybody has a broken like life
story.
They have a broken story. Like, nobody is perfect. So the fact that you can show that shows that you're human and you're just like everybody else. Instead of trying to be like, I'm good, life's good all the time. How? How is life good all the time? You must be Jesus.
But that's how I used to go about it. And then that died out. Like, it would be like an on and off thing because I wanted people to know about it, but I wasn't fully ready to step into it because I was like holding myself back from really doing what God wanted me to do. And, you know, I'm still struggling till this day to really let him work
Right.
within me, you know, let him do what he wants to do with me. Um,
What?
relax.
It's very true.
Be,
It's very
relax.
shout out to God. Shout out to God because he deserves it, don't he?
Yes, he does.
And you better let him work.
I'm still learning to
It's
let
not
him
easy.
work.
I'm not even gonna lie. It's not easy. I be
You be what? You be what?
I be feeling like maybe I'm supposed to preach and take over my dad's church.
Oh, and it
Low
comes
key,
out.
low key, but it's low key.
Low key.
But it's not something easy to like, based on like being, like seeing how people treat my dad. I'm okay. I'm okay.
But I feel like with anything that God calls you to do, it's never gonna be easy.
Nah.
And people are always gonna judge you at the end of the day. And that is something that I had to learn the hard way.
Especially from your family, from your culture. Like,
Yeah. Very, 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 very hard to do.
yeah.
And especially starting this, when I actually started the podcast, I was very, very afraid to put it out. Not because of what people would say, but really because of what my family would say, like how they would react to some of the stuff that I would talk about. Because really, the podcast was created so I could tell my point of view on anything. And, you know, I've never done that all my life with my parents. So I was more afraid of how they would react.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember the first episode me and Jeremy did with, what episode was it? You wouldn't know.
I would not. Then we're gonna act like I would.
Let me go back to. Okay, so the first episode that we did was what does it mean to be a Christian? I remember when my mom was listening to that video, to the podcast, and she was just like, you know, she was happy that I was doing it, but at the same time, she was more like, are you living the way you're talking? And it was like, it was more of in an accusing tone than like actually
Giving advice.
Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't even say advice, more like trying to like to see, instead of asking me, you know, I don't know how to put it.
Basically, she's in your head, in her head, she's giving advice or trying to tell you, like, give you critique.
Yeah.
But how it came off was what you said,
accusing me, like, are you living how you're telling, like, your podcast, like, are you living that way, you know, because I don't see you doing this, I don't see you doing that. And, you know, that's one thing that I will say I don't like that my Haitian parents have, is they want to see everything that you're doing for God in front of them. And it's like, God said some stuff you have to do behind closed door, was just him and you in the room.
But it's not that, like, that I used to do that for my dad a lot, because he would say the same thing, like, I don't see that he'll tell me and my brothers, I don't see that you guys are really in the word or truly praying. But in reality, every time I left the house, I prayed before I got in the car, because of how many car accidents I got into. And I would pray to, like, pass tests. I mean, back then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
I did that too.
It was, but I was doing, like, the stuff. Like, I was reading a little bit. I wasn't too heavy into it. It's just I'm not as passionate as my dad was.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like they forget that you're still a kid and you're still,
you have your own
learning.
Journey.
Exactly.
You have your own journey. I'm not supposed to do it the way you did it,
but that's what they want.
And I get it, because you're trying to, like, you want the best for your kids, and you feel like Jesus, obviously,
It's the best.
Jesus is the
It's the
best.
best.
So
The only way.
I'm gonna put my kids on it right now, and we have to as kids, we have to kind of forgive our parents and try to understand our parents a little bit more, because there is no rule book on how to take care of you,
Yeah.
how to take care of me, Joshep, you, Blandine. You like, there's no because you're a different. Anybody can write a book, but based on whose child, not you.
Yeah.
You're a totally different, because they probably didn't even expect that you would end up doing what you were doing or end up feeling suicidal. Like, my parents never expected us to be where we are right now. My dad thought Joab, my brother, was going to be a pastor. Joab's nowhere near that. Nowhere at all. So we kind of have to give our parents grace.
And now that, because when growing up, my parents used to take me to church Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, as a kid, you're like, I don't want to go. I want to stay home. I don't want to go to church. For what? It's boring. Blah blah blah. But like now, as a grown up, I'm actually grateful that they used to take me to that surrounding. At least for me, I can speak, because now I'm involved in church. Maybe because I don't know.
So I'm not gonna say all that. I mean, I'm grateful, but at the same time, not really, because it did mess me up. But I feel like I had to figure out who Jesus was for me. I had to figure out who God
everyone
was for
has
me.
to do that. But it's hard to do that in a Haitian household, because they literally shove it down your throat.
They throw it down your throat.
They shove it down your throat who Jesus is for them and who he should be for you.
For you.
Yeah. And when you don't react the way they want you to react when they tell you that, they get upset.
It was like saying what I was saying the other day. Like, you have to test your faith. Like, you can't just blindly believe in something and then not understand it really. But just because you've been doing it all your life, it becomes tradition rather than a lifestyle, rather than something that you believe in.
Exactly.
It's just a tradition that you do. Like, we wake up, go to church every Sunday, and that's just what we do. I don't have a reason on why I go to church. I just go to church, and this is what we do at church every Sunday. It's like clockwork. But if you start to understand for yourself, that's when it becomes different. That's when you become a little bit more passionate about.
And I feel like
God.
A lot of Christians, they go to church on Sunday because they feel like, oh, that's when I'm gonna go to spend time with God.
The everyday thing.
But it's like, I feel like a lot of Christians miss that part where it does say, church is not a building. It's you. So, you going to the building is for you to fellowship with other church.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. Like, you shouldn't be reserving just one day to go to church. You should always be the church every day. But
anywho, we have 45
minutes. We starting to preach.
I'm not preaching, but we're not there. I am not there yet. Anywho, we have 45 minutes. Or we want to keep going.
I don't know what else we would say. But let me just finish it off, I guess.
Go ahead.
So here I am now with this podcast, how the podcast started how my vision started with the blog to how it is now with the podcast. I can say that I've grown as an adult and spiritually. You know, I've grown both ways because,
With the podcast, or
yeah, I don't
okay,
think that makes sense.
so because of the podcast,
Like, it made
you've
me,
gone.
yeah, I've grown. Like, it pushed me out of my comfort zone. Like, it
Yes.
pushed me to do stuff that
You would never do.
I would have never done in a
Because,
million
like
years.
you said, your life is boring. You do the same thing every day. So doing something like this is very different for you.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And, you know, like, here I am now just talking as if the camera's not there. And if you go back to like the beginning of the podcast with
Very
just
awkward.
the mic, not even the camera, just the mic, it was very
Awkward.
very awkward for me to just like
Yeah.
talk and be like, there's something in front of me, but I have to talk like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
used to it. So I can say like this podcast has helped me a lot, and what I want out of this, and I've spoken a lot more about this on the episode where I was talking about the Uncommons, what it is about. But what I want out of this is the same thing for people who are listening and watching, you know, for them to grow spiritually. And, you know, even if it's not on the spiritual side, you know, when we talk about topics that are not spiritual, that you can also get some sort of understanding or some sort of advice that will help you. So, you know, I'm trying to walk into the light that God is pushing me to. You know, I'm still learning because I know He has more path He has more than one for me, and I'm fighting the other one. But you know, God knows I'll eventually do it.
I hope so.
The other walk is a little bit harder than this, I'll say, but you know, I'll eventually get into the other.
You have to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but you
don't
know,
want to, but-
when God calls you, you can't avoid it.
You
Clearly,
cannot.
you can't. Yeah, Rashab, you can't avoid it.
First of all, it's not
You
about me.
cannot avoid
today
it.
It's not about me. This is your episode. It's not about me. Watch your mouth.
But on that note,
We're gonna end it.
we're gonna end this episode.
Very good.
Oh my god.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. Very good. We need like a beat to end it off on.
I thought we had that little beat.
I didn't save it.
Oh, because I was like, there was a beat there. But anyways, I hope this episode really, really helps someone out there who might be going through something worse than me or something like me, you know, so they can talk about it to somebody. Like, if you can't talk to your parents, I would really recommend you to talk to somebody that you can trust, you know, to let it off your chest, because the more you leave it on your chest, it's just gonna build up and build up. And then one day, a little thing that someone might say to you will just break you off. And you're like, this was the last thing that I needed to push me off the edge. And now you're gonna be off the edge.
That's ugly.
I know, but it's life.
It's life.
And, you know, it almost happened to me, and I'm grateful that, you know, God was with me that night, that, you know, that He was there with me, and, you know, He was always watching over me. And, you know, back then I didn't know it, but looking back, I'm like, wow, who was I? Who was I, you know? It's the little things. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Comment
this was a
down
very
below.
lengthy episode. Oh, the sad thing.
Oh yeah, we did
Let us know
say
how you guys feel about the setup and how it looks, and
yes.
all that
Comment down below stuff that you like about this episode. If you like the new setup, because, you know, last episode we did say we were gonna be in a new environment. So
this is it. I
Here
mean,
we are.
Bogo fini. Man, too bad.
Here we
Too bad,
are.
Vinny.
Here we are. Here we
So yeah, we thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far,
It's so soon.
don't know what you were doing.
I was singing and dancing because I'm very excited about this setup. Like, this was also part of my dream for this show. So, you know,
Yeah.
I'm happy that it's coming into reality. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I am enjoying it. And put down below in the comment what you like about it. And give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't followed us, go follow us on
On
Instagram.
everything.
Yes, literally everything. And
You have Twitter?
also,
You have Twitter?
I do, but I don't know how Twitter works. So, like, I deleted it. I had Twitter, but I don't know how it works. So I deleted off my phone.
Oh wait.
So, if any of you guys know how Twitter works, you know, send me a DM. I'm very Haitian. I will do a lot of Haitian stuff, you know, so just be on the lookout for that. I'm very Haitian. But yeah, follow us on every
you don't want
social
people to be on the
media
lookout
that
for
I
that.
could possibly have, huh? What'd you say?
You don't want people to be on the lookout for that.
Well, I already said it, so it's out there now. I already
Ridiculous. Anywho, continue.
So yeah, follow us on all of our social media platforms.
Yes.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Please,
Please.
please, please. It's gonna help this family grow. You know, I want this family to grow. Oh, I'm like moving.
Yeah.
I have ADHD. I think I said this last episode. But yes, we're gonna end it off.
Anyways.
How
all
we
right.
gonna end this off?
Benediction.
Benediction.
I'm gonna stop talking because my tongue is heavy.
Benediction.
Benediction.
Okay, well, this is how I'm gonna end it off.
I think we're gonna do benediction.
How you gonna do benediction?
I'm gonna set it up next time.
Okay.
I'm gonna set it up next time.
Okay. But I hope you guys did enjoy it. You're probably gonna have to edit all this out.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you need to.
I'm not.
I hope you guys. I'm gonna stop repeating myself. I'll see you guys next time. Oh, and also be on the lookout for the new website and the shirts that are gonna be dropping pretty soon.
Woohoo!
I'm very excited, so I hope you guys need to stay on the lookout
Woohoo!
when it drops. And also our new
Mayo.
oh, wow, our new day that the episodes will be dropping is gonna be Mondays. It will no longer be Wednesdays. So I will see you guys next Monday. Be safe, y'all. Bye.
Bye. Taking it easy, having fun, have a good time. Business all the time.